So hi and welcome to today's video. Today I'm actually going to be doing sort of a quick guide really to detailing sprays, sort of really kind of when you use them, the different types, what they're actually used for, what the kind of advantages, maybe some disadvantages, and also some recommendations. So it's hopefully going to be kind of, if you're not really sure what detailing sprays are for, what they're going to be used for, and you're not really sure which to actually buy, hopefully this video should kind of help and clear that up. So first starting with a sort of definition really of what a detailing spray actually is. So there was a little bit of a debate and there were quite a few different types of detailing sprays, so I will get onto that. But generally detailing spray is going to do sort of one or more of one of these kind of things. So offering sort of protection, offering some gloss and some light cleaning abilities. So that's kind of what you sort of expect to get from most traditional quick detailer sprays. So in terms of the different types of quick detailer sprays, it's best to start with that. You've got sort of traditional quick detailer sprays, which are intended to kind of have really light cleaning abilities. So I'll get on to how much cleaning they actually can do. But when I say light cleaning, I'm more talking about things like you've just washed the car, you see a fingerprint or a smudge, a bit of maybe a water spot, something like that, and you would use quick detailer spray to essentially sort of clean up the finish, just make sure it kind of looks perfect basically. So that would be what a traditional quick detailer would do. It would tend to offer some kind of protection ability, so some kind of, obviously it's going to leave that finish, you coating it essentially over whatever wax or sealant you've already got on your car. So it leaves some kind of protection behind with that. Also in terms of gloss, a lot of detailing sprays offer sort of a little bit of gloss enhancement, so you can't expect miracles from them. They are just a spray that you're going to put on your car. Your kind of condition of the paint is really what's going to dictate how shiny it is. But generally they're going to offer a little bit of gloss enhancement and generally make the car overall just look more complete finished and kind of have that clearer finish, particularly if you're removing things like water spots and streaks that are left behind. The next kind of detailing spray you've got is, we're sort of moving away now from sort of your traditional quick detailer sprays, but some products out there will fall into one of the next three kind of types of spray, but can potentially be called detailing sprays, so that's why I want to kind of address them here. So you've got spray waxes and sealants, so I would probably put this product here into that category. So this is Sonac's Brilliant Shine Detailer. It is called a quick detailer, but I would probably call this a spray sealant a bit more. It offers a lot of protection, and it's, you know, it's going to offer a really hydrophobic coating on the surface, more than what you would expect from sort of traditional quick detailer. So spray waxes and spray sealants can also kind of have a little bit of that effect, so they would focus less on the cleaning abilities and more on kind of those gloss and protection. Then you've got products called waterless wash products. So this is where it's gonna, maybe some people would disagree with me, but I've definitely seen it where some products that are being called waterless washes are also being called detailer sprays and vice versa. So I wanted to talk about that, but basically waterless washes have a lot more lubrication and they make it a lot safer to remove things like dust. So they really focus on those kind of cleaning abilities rather than kind of the gloss and protection that traditional quick detailers and spray waxes would. And then finally, there are definitely some detailer sprays that do this, and they're known as clay lubricants. So when you clean your car, you obviously got to make sure that the surface is very slippy, so you're not kind of clay isn't grabbing and causing marring and swirls doing that. So some detailing sprays can be used as clay lubricants. I would definitely be cautious with this. A lot of detailing sprays can't be, and really it's not a good idea to do that, so I would definitely look out for one that says it's safe to do that. It will say on the back of the packaging if it is safe to do that, but I would just be careful with that a little bit. But I just wanted to briefly mention it here. So basically now I kind of wanted to talk about when you would actually use a quick detailer spray, so more talking about those kind of traditional quick detailer sprays rather than things like clay lubricants and things like that. So I think the safest way to actually use a quick detailer spray is after, and to get the most out of it really, is after you've washed the car, you've dried the car, and then basically you could go over the certain areas, things like fingerprints, smudges, streaks, things like that, and just clean them up with a microfiber towel, quite a plush microfiber towel, definitely one that's recently been washed and is quite fresh, and basically just kind of tidy up bits of the finish with your quick detailer spray. So that's where I find quick detailer sprays most effective. That's where I tend to use them. You can also use them in that kind of process, but before you've actually dried the car. You can use them when the car's still wet as basically a drying aid. So there are products out there that are definitely marketed as specific drying aids, but a lot of quick detailers can actually be used like that as well. So tend to be the ones that sort of offer a bit more of that lubrication. Things like Sonax Brilliant Shine Detailer would fall into that category. It's going to kind of help the microfiber glide across the surface, and it's basically going to add that kind of layer of protection, gloss and things like that, but as you're actually drying the car, so it's a little bit more efficient, and a lot of people tend to use them that way. So those are kind of the two times I would say it's best to use a quick detailer. Now, a lot of quick detailers will say that they have ability to remove dust, bird poo and things like that. Contaminants you'd find on your car basically in between washes rather than immediately after washing. Now, this is where I'd be incredibly careful, and personally would never use a quick detailer spray in this circumstance unless it was marketed as a waterless wash product. Basically, most quick detailer sprays just don't have the lubrication to remove things like dust and bird poo and things like that without actually causing scratches and swirl marks and marring in the paint. So basically, I have definitely done this in the past. I remember when I was first looking into quick detailer sprays, I was on Halfords and I was looking at kind of products and things like that. I was getting into detailing at that point, and sort of learning how to wash the car and things like that. And I saw detailing sprays as one of the categories, and I thought, oh, what's that? I had no idea. And they all said they can remove dust. So I did what I think a lot of people have done, and a lot of people would probably think would be okay to do. And basically, I wash the car once a week, and then midweek I think, oh, it's looking a little bit dusty. It was midsummer. It was looking a bit dusty. I'll go and get the quick detailer spray out. Can't really bother washing the entire car. It doesn't need it. Get the quick detailer spray out and go over the entire car with a microfiber towel. Now, little did I know that I was basically swirling the entire paintwork. Luckily, I didn't do it on the car I've got at the moment. I did it on my first car, but basically a lot of quick detailers just don't have the ability to remove dust safely. So even though they say it, some can, some can't, but I would sort of err on the side of caution with that. If your car's dusty or has dirt on it, either use a waterless wash, style detail spray, something that is safe to use on the paintwork. But again, you've got to be careful using that. You've got to be careful that the car's not too dirty. You're using light pressure, you're using a good microfiber towel and things like that. But personally, I only use quick detail spray immediately after washing the car, whether that's when the car's still wet or whether the car is actually dry. Just be very careful with it. Some paints are harder than others, some are going to swirl easier than others. Obviously it's going to depend on the amount of dust, but I generally think that it's much safer to use a quick detailer spray on a clean car and to not expect miracles from this product. So I thought, oh, it's just something you can use and you can just go over your entire car and you don't have to wash it when it's just dusty. You do it a couple of times a week in summer and you wouldn't have to wash your car. That isn't really the case. You're going to scratch your paintwork if you do that. So just be very careful about using quick detailer sprays in that way, even though a lot of them say they remove dust and things like that. Just be cautious. I'll stop talking about this now, but that's sort of my thinking behind that. In terms of drawbacks of quick detailers, so touched on it there, obviously, basically a limitation of one for me is the cleaning ability. I don't think that's any limitation entirely of the products, but more in terms of my kind of expectation that people have. Quick detailer sprays are useful products to use, and even after finding out that I was swirling my paintwork, I didn't bin my quick detailer spray, you can still use them. You can use them after washing and things like that. But just a sort of disadvantage, it's not really a disadvantage, more of a limitation in terms of not to expect too much from this product. But also some kind of sort of disadvantage in a way if some certain products, not all of them, in fact quite sort of few of them, is the potential to kind of cause a sort of streaky finish after you've actually applied them. So this tends to come from products that are kind of quite concentrated, have sort of thicker consistency. When you apply them, there can be potential, if you've not buffed them correctly, to sort of leave sort of patches and streaking and things like that. So just be cautious of that. Obviously using them to kind of tidy up the finish, so you've got to be using them properly. Make sure you read in the back of the packet if it says, or back of the bottle, if it says apply it with your microfiber towel and then flip it and buff it off with the rest, then don't be lazy, do that, because otherwise you're going to get a streaky finish. And I've done it in the past, definitely, but it's just something to be aware of. They're not kind of miracle products. If you wipe them on the surface, they obviously have, you know, they're leaving a coating on your paintwork, so you can't expect to sort of slap them on and get amazing results. You have got to take a little bit of time to do that. The sort of final drawback, which is the actual probably only real drawback, the others kind of limitations and sort of inaccurate or sort of not best practice when you're using them. But for me, a disadvantage of using a quick detailer spray is the fact that it does leave a coating on your car. So if you're using a really hydrophobic coating or a coating that you really like the properties of, whatever, so I've used like Fructose coat in the past, it's really kind of hydrophobic and it just sheets water and beads water really, really fast. It's really, really good kind of hydrophobic product. And then when you think, oh, I'll just use a detailer spray on top, because I just end up doing it because I like washing my car and I just add an extra step for the sake of it sometimes. But basically, you're going to essentially mask whatever coating, sealant or wax you've got underneath your detailer spray. So if you don't like the properties of your detailer spray, perhaps it's not very hydrophobic, it's not particularly slick and things like that, then but the coating underneath was, then be wary that you are essentially masking that. Some, after a couple of washes, will wash away and you'll be left again with the properties of your coating that you like. Then it kind of defeats the object of using a detailer spray in the first place, but that can happen. Others will mask it and you'll never really get the coating sort of feature back. You'll essentially have to apply another layer or strip it off entirely and start fresh to get that kind of those properties of the original coating you had underneath. So just be careful that some detailer sprays will mask your coating and your wax underneath. So it's just something to keep in mind. Definitely choosing products that are sort of compatible. Products from the same lineup is a good option to go for, because if you use a sealant and a detailer spray from the same lineup, then you know that obviously they're going to agree that you're going to get those similar properties. In most cases, not in all, but in most cases that will happen. Or just at least choosing, say if you want a really hydrophobic coating, don't go and top it up with a detailer spray that's not really offering much protection and hydrophobicity, but is offering really good gloss. Then expect you kind of hydrophobics to really sort of be diminished because of that. It's a bit of a trade-off really, so just keep that in mind when you are choosing your quick detailer. So basically I wanted to talk about sort of a couple of recommendations, a couple of products that I've tried that I think you might use for different circumstances. So I have talked about this, so I will talk about this one first. So this is Sonax Brilliant Shine Detailer, and as I said, I wouldn't call it a traditional quick detailer because I wouldn't really use this sort of cleaning ability in terms of tidying up the finish afterwards, after you washed it, but more you could use it as a drying aid or as a sealant to kind of basically protect the car if you see it underneath dying and you don't have time to apply another layer. It's something that's going to be quick and will just kind of top up that protection. So I have actually done a sort of full review of this product. So I will leave a link in the description and a card on screen if you want to check that out. But there are some disadvantages and advantages to this product, but if you're looking for something that's quite hydrophobic, and it's very, very good value for money, you're not going to use it all the time, or maybe you just want something cheap just to have on your shelf, so you've got a quick detailer in your kind of collection, then this is a good one to check out. So I'll leave the link in the description for that video. But my favourite quick detailer that I have tried it's this product here. So I actually have only got the sample size. I purchased this from Car Chem. They did like £10, and you got five. So yeah, I got these 5 here basically. So I've got a review of this and the rest of the Car Care lineup that I'll leave in the description. But basically, this quick detailer spray is very, very hydrophobic. It sheets water rather than beads it up, which I think is better. It sort of pushes water off the surface, so you don't get things like water spots afterwards when the car actually dries. It's good value for money. Obviously I've got the sample size, but still it's pretty cheap. Quick detailer spray to buy. It smells really nice, which I've just noticed. I just remembered, but basically obviously not something to buy the product over, but it's something that's nice about it. But generally it's really easy to apply. It's hydrophobic, which is the best thing I can expect for it. Leaves a good finish, and generally all rounder, this is a good one to look at if you are interested in that product. I will leave a link in the description, obviously card on the screen as well, to check out that review. So out of the two, I'm using that one, but there are a lot of people that would prefer that one. So it's just something to keep in mind. It really kind of depends what kind of quick detailer spray you're actually after. So I hope that this video has sort of cleared some things up, has sort of, helps a little bit kind of understand what quick detailer sprays are and when you should kind of use them, when you shouldn't. And so hopefully you have found it helpful. If you have, then it'd be great if you could leave a like on the video. If you have got any more questions, anything that I've not addressed, then definitely be sure to comment down below. If you are interested in this kind of detailing content, you like product reviews, vehicle transformations and things like that, then definitely sure to hit the subscribe button, as I'm uploading quite a lot, and there's definitely a lot more to come, so definitely hit the subscribe if you are interested in that. But thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.